Good evening. This is David Lynn, and you're here for a Saturday edition of Coffee Talk, number 422, March the 29th, 2025, Central Standard Time, and a partridge in a pear tree. Sorry, just having a little fun. Um, I've been enjoying my day off. I did get a channel update in, and I'm working on a goodie box, a follow-up goodie box giveaway for KP Heathen. Uncle Al, Die Bullfrog 79, KP Heathen in the house. Two of my most supportive friends. Uncle Al is in California, and KP Heathen is one state over in Louisiana. I could live in Louisiana if I did not live in Texas. I damn sure wouldn't live in California. Sorry. I will tell you that one. Well, thank you for your ministry, Uncle Al. I appreciate it. My friend Melinda Elliott, she also lives in Louisiana. See, I have friends in Louisiana. Multiple friends. Thank you for thumb number 4. Uncle Al contacted me today, and he said, do a limited political debate, but watch it. So I think what I'm going to do today, yeah, you're behind there, lines, all right. I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about the political system, how it's structured, talk about the basically the lay of the land, the court system. The court system's involved in a lot right now. So I'm going to talk about the court system, and I'm going to give you some numbers. How many district courts are there? How many district court judges are there? You'd be surprised at the numbers. How many did Trump? How many was Trump able to get in his previous term? How many did he appoint? People that you can pretty much be sure are conservative and that probably are going to follow the Constitution. We're going to talk about some of that stuff. We'll talk about the balance in the House. We'll talk about the balance in the Senate. Why the House is in so much of an uproar from the standpoint of the numbers. There's still 4 seats that are up for grabs. There will be special. There are going to be 2 special elections in I think for Florida, and these are Republican seats, and they're not taking any chances, wanting to make sure that a Republican fills them because of the numbers. Claudette, my friend, hello. Welcome to the chat. My friend Claudette is right across the border in Canada, throwing distance from the U.S. side, and very supportive, and I truly appreciate her. And Claudette, you may be in line for a follow-up box. I know that the shipping will kill me, but I'd still like to do something for you. So we got 5 on the line right now. Let me go ahead and just get started. Um, the Republicans won in November. And I mean, you want to talk about celebrations and you want to talk about funerals. People were either absolutely out of their minds with happiness or Trump derangement syndrome 5 million. Um, yes, you did, Claudette. You were 600 subscriber giveaway, and well, let's put it this way: you can still compete. I will be doing another giveaway when I hit 1900, and you know, leave a supportive comment and a like in each of the last 5 videos I will have released. And I'm releasing a few more videos now, but I'm not releasing anything like the numbers that the YouTube algorithm would want me to release. And then you have the opportunity to be a winner again. And considering the fact that there aren't that many people who have been really, doing all the 5. Last time I only had 14 people that were in the hat, so you'd have a good chance. So the Republicans win in November. Trump returns to the White House, and the Republicans retook the Senate. 53 seats. 53 seats to 45 seats to the Democrats. 2 independents that caucus with the Democrats, like Bernie Sanders, socialist Bernie Sanders. He's a way to the left with the Democrats. He is a socialist, but he calls himself it goes as an independent. And I didn't look up to see. I mean, I know who Bernie Sanders is, but I didn't look up to see who the other independent was. I think it's the lady out in Arizona. Was it Christian Gillibrand, or was it? I think it was the lady in Arizona who was a Democrat who switched parties or became independent. Yes, I'm sure there were a lot of Canadians that were happy to see Trump win. I have heard that out in Alberta, which is a very conservative area, it's got a lot of minerals and doesn't have much population, like maybe 5 million people. They're not happy with the Canadian government, and they're talking about breaking away, and they're talking about there are people in their independence movement that has been meeting with those in Washington, D.C., talking about the possibility of Alberta becoming a 51st state or becoming part of the United States, which I believe we would probably welcome that, especially if they would be coming in fairly conservative, so they would probably be a Republican voting, or whatever their parties are would probably align. The way that the the 2 independents are aligning with the Democrats, their version of whatever their party would probably align with our Republicans. So in the Senate, the Republicans went from being in the minority for the next 2 years until the next election. Whatever happens then, the Republicans are back in the majority in the Senate. In the House, which has 435 seats, right now the Republicans have 218 and the Democrats have 213 seats. So the Republicans have a 5-seat lead, and there are 4 vacant, and there are 2 elections, I think this weekend or Monday, and both of them are for Republican seats who took roles in the administration. Very conservative Republican seats, which should retain Republican seats, and therefore it'll give them a little bit more of a pad when it comes to people being sick or people being out, doing something other, and they're not there for votes. The one that surprises me, April the 2nd. Thank you, Claudette. That would be Wednesday. So I guess they're going to have their Wednesday. Mom of 4 boys. Hello, Rachel. So, as far as the courts are concerned, you've got the Supreme Court, and there are 9 justices on it. And of the 9 justices, 6 were appointed by Republicans. The Chief Justice a lot of times votes with the left. He's the most worrisome and what I would call the most iffy of the votes. But now that you have 5 other Republicans, you can afford to have him vote with the left, and you can still have a conservative decision. And he votes with the Republicans more than he votes with the Democrats. But on some of the big ones, he's done some bonehead decisions, in my opinion. Like, he saved Obamacare. He saved Obamacare, and that's a big, Retirement days. How are you doing? Appreciate you coming in, Betty. So, you have the Supreme Court and 9 members, and then you have 13 courts of appeals. 13 courts of appeals. There are 13 different courts, appellate courts. And then there are 94 district courts. Some states only have 1. And there are 677 district court judges. So when they're complaining about a district court judge blocking something that the administration's doing, and basically he could be there's a district court judge here in Victoria, Texas, that oversees several counties, several surrounding counties. There's a district court here. There's a judge here. And there's one down in Corpus Christi. Got them in Santone. There are multiple district court judges. And the idea that, some judge that's in a area where he technically handles court cases for a population of a couple 100,000 people, and then he can decide, or he can block something that basically involves the entire country, which is over 340 million people. So you get these activist judges that were appointed by Biden or Obama. There's still a few judges around appointed by Clinton, and they're fouling up things. So then they're asking, well, can we get the Supreme Court to go ahead and get involved and overrule them, like not being able to deport criminals? The court trying to stop them or try to get them to return the gang members that are, that have been 250, 260 gang members that were shipped out by plane, and trying to say, you got to bring them back, got to bring them back. They're not U.S. citizens and they're criminals. I mean, they're real criminals, as in gangbanger criminals, real heinous criminals. and then they're wanting to, you know. So it's a situation. And then you ask, well, how many um, how many judges did the Trump administration put into place? Okay, so out of 677 district court judges, and they're appointed for life, the Trump administration put 234 of them in place. Slightly over a third of all district court judges were appointed by the Trump administration, or by Trump during the Trump administration, and were they were approved by the U.S. Senate with a majority, with a Republican majority. And Trump appointed 54 of the appeals court judges. There are fewer appeals court judges than there are district court judges. Appeals court is like the next group up, just right underneath the Supreme Court. So does that give you the lay of the land? Hello, Myra. I'm sorry, I'm not watching who's coming in. We are talking. Hello, little lone prepper. Everybody's greeting everybody else. Show me gold family. Hello. And we are 17 minutes into the live stream. 7 in the house, 9 likes. Yeah, they're real hardcore criminals. At some point during the previous administration, when they were having just waves and 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 convoys of thousands of illegals coming up through Central America, through Mexico, to the border and coming in, and they're just welcoming them. I can't imagine Border Patrol agreeing to that, but just welcoming them. Come on in. We take in the world. And you had Colombia, you had Venezuela letting criminals out of prison that they convicted or put in prison with the understanding that they would leave and go to the United States. A lot of these gang members that are up here causing grief, they came from Venezuela, they came from Colombia, they came from places where they were encouraged to go and commit crimes in the United States. And the president, who was, lights are on, nobody's home. He didn't care. They didn't care. Let's get another ice cream cone. Oops. I got the warning. Uncle El said, be careful, careful. Okay. I don't want to start flashing. So that's the current lay of the land. The lay of the land. So let me talk a little bit about my update to my channel. It has been suggested by one of my friends whose channel is growing like a weed that I let my main channel rest for about a month and work on my backup channel. Like, do my live streams on my backup channel, do my notifications, do my shorts, do my videos and such, and just grow. Use my backup channel. And right now my backup channel has about 60 subscribers. I've got a bunch of stuff backed up on my backup channel in private. I can start releasing. I can release videos. I can release shorts. I got a bunch of stuff, that I can just start releasing it. I can do my live streams and let my main channel rest for about a month. So I said today in my channel update video, which a little less than 6 minutes. It's not really long-winded. When I do a 5 or 6 minute one, that's not long-winded. That I thought I would do that after I reach 1900. After I reach 1900 subscribers, and I do my 1900 subscriber giveaway. And right now I am 30 some odd short of 1900. So at some point in time in the near future, and I've got 2 months to go before school gets out, and then I'll have 2.5 months off during the summer that I can work on my channel and such. So after I reach 1900 and I do my 1900 subscriber giveaway, and in order to qualify, you need to leave me a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos I will have released. Then I'll shift over to my backup channel. And my goal for my backup channel is to get over 100 subscribers. I'm still going to use it as a backup channel when I switch back over to my main channel. It'll be, I put stuff up in private, secured so that I can release it later on if I want to. I use it to support other channels. I may start doing playlists again with a few people, supporting their channels, running their live streams and such, running their playlist, and to give them watch time, and then they do the same thing for me. I haven't been doing that since my wife had her situation was for several months in the fall, had her surgery and rehab and all that, and so So that's where I am at right now. 7 in the house, 9 likes. Yes, President Autopin. Wonder if Mrs. President was doing that. But nothing surprises me at this point. Nothing surprises me. Nothing at all surprises me. So I will tell you, I buy a lot of stuff. I order a lot of stuff and have it delivered. And today, UPS delivered a box I'd ordered 100 box of coffee, medium roast, donut shop, $32 for 100 pods. I ordered a box. Thursday. Thursday. 2 days later, here it is. And I ordered a lot of stuff. I order a lot of stuff. You know, that I don't have to go get. I did not go over to Sam's. I could have went over to Sam's, and I would have paid $33 plus tax. I mean, I paid a little bit more than $32 because I had to pay tax. I got free delivery. So, talking about where we're at in the situation, where we're at as far as the lay of the land politically, right now the lay of the land. The Democrats really, their goal, or their stated goal, is that they're the resistance. They don't have the votes to really block anything, but they can raise a lot of hell and they can delay things. They use procedures to delay things. The idea is they want to get through the midterm elections and they hopefully can pick up seats. They probably will not in the Senate, but as far as in the House, they hope to be able to pick up the few seats that they would need to flip the House back. And if they do that, then they've got power to push their agenda, And they still have the liberal media behind them, Like any little thing that they can turn into a scandal, and they can basically try to keep the heat on. Like somebody, I won't say who, somehow a never Trumper journalist got into a chat. I guess it would have been where they're texting back and forth, like 18 people texting, and they got added into a text chat with one of these programs that supposedly is secure, but whatever, that this isn't like, okay, the Republicans invented this, they're the first ones using this, the Biden administration used the same, system or whatever. And now that the Democrats are using their time when they have their investigations and when they bring people in to question them. Now they're just hammering Trump's cabinet members over that. And the topic was, what are they going to do with the Houthis? That the Houthis they're shutting down the ability to use the Suez Canal. They're using force, and they're attacking shipping. And then the U.S. warships, they're trying to attack U.S. warships are out there trying to protect shipping to get to the Suez. They've really cut down the Suez, and the U.S. warships are not going through the Suez Canal right now at all. And they're using weapons that they got from Iran. So they're talking about what they're going to do. And I mean, I know that we are bombing them, and we're using our technology, not sending in ground troops, but we are basically using our stealth planes and our missiles and such, whether they're from ships or whether they're from planes and bombs and such, and we're hitting their military assets. And then they're threatening Iran with the same stuff, because Iran is where they're getting a lot of their money, they're getting their ability to do this fighting and everything from the Iranians. The Iranians are basically the piggy bank for all of this. Yeah, reporter from Atlantic Monthly. Thank you, Uncle Al. I was not wanting to say that myself. Yeah, they're using drones, and they're not that expensive. Yeah, you've told me before. I tried to order some, and I wasn't able to get it, Claudette. 120 for $45. That's not too bad. Yeah, we were the ones that were real big on the drones from way back when, and then we had a few that were taken down, and they were able to get people were able to get a hold of them, and then they were reverse engineering our drones to a certain extent. Now everybody's building drones. I mean, you got people flying drones. You got individuals. They buy drones for $200-300. They assemble them. They got cameras on them, and you got individuals flying drones around. You know, it's a hobby. Oh, we talked about that years ago, Claudette. I had actually ordered some, and then for whatever reason, they basically canceled my order, and they said they weren't able to get it. And I know that's a popular. You know, you had told me about that. You probably don't remember because we communicated so much about so many different things. But yeah, that was one of those things like where you got me wanting the taste of it, so I did that. Well, yes, Uncle Al. You know the V1, the V2, um, the Germans back during the 1940s. Yes, but what I'm talking about is the miniaturization. You know, we've got these drone uh, drone planes that we use for reconnaissance. They're basically remote controlled. You can be halfway around the world, remote controlling it in a some sort of wherever they're doing their stuff from, or you could be 200 or 300 miles away, like a joystick, and you got like a setup inside a van or inside of a building, or 18 wheeler, you know, um, and they're flying. Now we've got them; they're armed, so they've got missiles on them. You know, they've got small missiles. They've got, like, I think they call them the Hellfire missile and such, and they can basically, they're not at risk of of a human dying piloting it because they're remotes. And but some of this everything's so damned expensive. Like, they talk about these drones, like the Iranians shot down a $220 million drone, and then they recovered it. You know, and then they use it to try to understand the technology. Now everybody's using them. They're using them in the war over in Europe. The Turks are building them. The Koreans are building them. North Koreans. I'm sure the South Koreans build them. Everybody is able to build them. And then they're armed. Or some of them are like kamikaze drones. They've got some explosives. And you go out and try to crash it into something other, like drone swarms and such. Um, but we're dealing with that, and then they're crying about tariffs. Oh, we can't do that. Well, we have a massive trade imbalance. There are countries who've got tariffs on us, and they've got like a 16% tariff on us for something other, and we've got like a 2.5% tariff on them, and then we got a trade imbalance where, you know, billions of dollars more are going out of the United States than are coming in. So we're basically, you know, we're leaking lots of money to these other countries. Trade imbalance. Oh, and then they're crying because you can't do that. You can't try to you know, there's a 60 some odd $billion trade imbalance with Canada. Well, you can't clear that up. No. No, that's just absolute. You can't do that. That'll just destroy our relationship. If you want us to play fair. Six watching, 9 likes. Well, I did a pot roast and vegetables. When the live stream's over, gonna go eat. 36 minutes in, 7 in the house, 9 likes. My friend Dave, how you doing? Thank you. And I don't know if you've noticed that if you watch the entire video, I'm taking your advice. And after I reach 1900, which I'm 30 some odd away from, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. Maybe I'll call you tomorrow afternoon after church. Yeah, I've been praying for you, Dave. I appreciate you so much. I wish I lived nearer to you. We'd get together. And Dave is from my ancestral homeland back in Georgia. Well, I will. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're in the hospital. I started to say you were eating too good. You were basically all that pizza and those cookies and everything. It's like, God Almighty! I said he was in Helen, and I was thinking, oh God, he's living too. He's enjoyed himself too much, you know, as far as culinary and all that. And I said, oh no. Uh, but yeah. So that, you know, I'm gonna look at doing that. I'm working on a video right now, a goodie box. Went and bought more boxes, and I got all the components and everything. I'm working on a video. Hopefully, I'll have it out. I may have it out tomorrow, but I hope to have the box done so I can get in the mail Monday or Tuesday. Well, it won't be Monday because I have to go pick up my tax return at 5 o'clock on Monday, so it'll probably be Tuesday. Having my taxes done right now. And I gotta go make things right with the person doing my taxes and make arrangements to probably pay the government several $1,000s. Yeah, and there's so many people back in the Carolinas and Georgia that really got they lost so much. And the government, you know, I remember Kamala Harris, we're making arrangements for $750 a person, and how many thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars are they spending on the illegals for all sorts of stuff? And I remember watching a movie about Henry II and his sons. And Catherine, his wife Catherine, who was hell on wheels. and she was always encouraging the kids to rebel and try to, lock up Henry, and then Henry locked his sons and his wife up. Um, and his namesake Henry had died, and he had three additional sons. He had Richard the Lionheart was the next one, and he had Joffrey was his third son, and then John, as in Prince John, Robin Hood, Prince John, King John, was the baby, the run of the litter. And he gave them stuff while he was. He made Joffrey Duke of Brittany. Different provinces. That was in France, because he controlled the bulk of France. The crown at that time, the British, had the bulk of France. The French king was still in Paris, but Henry's territory went within 30 miles of Paris. He had troops on the border, which was like 30 miles from Paris. And he had made his third son, Joffrey, Duke of Brittany, and the plans were he wanted to make John king, but he wasn't in the order of the succession as far as the eldest was the one supposed to inherit. And Richard, known as the Lionheart, was a lot. He was a general. He was a fighting man. John was more bookish. He wasn't going to stand up to his big brother on the field. Neither was Joffrey. And the plans was Henry wanted John to be king, and Joffrey was going to be prime minister. He was going to be basically running things for John, and John would be the tutorial head, and Joffrey would run things. And then Joffrey, when they rebelled, and then they got caught, Henry said, "We made you Duke of Brittany. Is that so little?" Because everybody wanted the crown. They made him Duke of Brittany. And you just think about stuff like that. I mean, I love history, and I love British history. I love Mexican history, and I can talk to you a lot about pre-Columbian civilizations, and I can talk to you about the conquest, the conquistadors, and all that mess. I can talk to you about how they got screwed up with Santa Anna. Santa Anna fame. Communists and socialists hate America. That's true. Oh, please. But when you get out of the hospital in next 2 or 3 days, you'll probably be at 10,000. Don't cry about that. Enrique Trevino, welcome, my friend. Thank you for coming. You have really missed some good stuff. This is one that you might want to go back and replay. "44 minutes in. 9 in the house. 11 likes. So, today's topic, I decided to talk about the lay of the land politically. After the Republicans won the White House in November, the left wing lost its mind, and the Republicans retook the Senate They did pretty good in the Senate. They went to 53 seats. They not only retook the Senate, they picked up some extra seats to give them a little bit of cover. Um, the Dems have 45 seats, and they have 2 independents that caucus with them, and that would be Bernie Sanders, who's a big socialist, and I believe that might be that what is her name? She's out in Arizona. She was a Democrat, and then she went independent. Cinema, was it Cinema? I think it was Cinema. Anyway, so they picked up the Senate, and they retained the House. Right now, the balance in the House is 218 seats Republican, 213 seats. The Democrats in their crew have 213 seats, and there are 4 vacancies. And this next week, 2 of the vacancies will be decided. They will basically be filling Republican seats that were given up in Florida to go into the administration. So hopefully the Republicans will pick up those 2 seats, and then they'll basically be at 220, and they'll have a 7-seat, and then you still got 2 more they got to figure out what they're going to do with. Talked a little bit about the courts. Uncle Al's talking about cooking. Oh, camo fancy. This is like a $2 or $3 shirt, please. You know, I got this thing for nothing. Every once in a while, I'll wear it. The thing is, it's nice sized. I don't look like a blimp in it. You know, it doesn't show my big belly. And I did my channel update wearing it today on my back porch. Yep, still a commie in Arizona. That's true. So then, you start talking about the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court, there are 9 Supreme Court seats. Trump, bless his heart, was able to appoint 3. It just worked out that way. So there are 3 that he appointed. There are 3 more that were appointed by other Republicans. And there are 3 liberals. Biden was able to appoint 1. And they're saying that in this administration, Trump will probably be able to appoint 1. The one that's older will probably resign within the next 2-3 years, and Trump will be able to replace that one so he can keep 6. The one that's the iffy is the Chief Justice, Roberts. Some of his rulings and some of his interventions are not too Republican. Like he saved Obamacare. That was his bonehead act, saved Obamacare. No, I'm not a blimp. Did you see a blimp sign, or did you see a blimp? Was there a blimp overhead? And I'm not actually that big. I weigh less than 250 pounds, and I'm 6'3". Yeah, I'm overweight, but it's all in here. It's all in here. I mean, my arms, my legs, my back. I don't have any flesh. I don't have any sag anywhere. Just in the belly. And I really need to drop 20, 25, 30 pounds, and you won't see near as much of this. So the Supreme Court right now is a 6-3 court, and a lot of times they vote 5-3, so you're still able to get stuff passed. Barrett, who Trump appointed, has made 2 or 3 rulings that were not too conservative, or at least not too Trumpish recently. and she voted with the liberal ladies on a couple of things that not good. And there are people who are mad at her about that. They're mad at her about that. So then you start looking at, well, what other courts are there? Well, there are two other courts. There's the Court of Appeals and there's the district courts. And as I said before, there are 94 district courts throughout the land. 94 courts. Some states have, like Alaska has one, you know. And then there are 677 district court judges. Total of 677 district court judges spread out through those 94 district courts. And these district courts that are giving Trump grief in different areas for different things, it's like one judge, one liberal judge, appointed by Obama or Biden, or a few of them probably by Clinton. Most of the trouble's coming from Biden and Obama judges. And you ask, well, what's the balance of that? Well, I will say this. Of the district court judges, a little over a third of all district court judges were appointed during the Trump administration. So you would believe that most of those, they're conservatives. A little over a third of them. So you still got just under 2/3. Just under 2/3. And he'll be appointing some more. But you know, Biden, he appointed over 200 district court judges during his 4 years. And these are for life. So a lot of the liberals that were getting old, they resigned so that a liberal could appoint their replacement. The same way the conservative ones usually they make sure that there's conservatives able to replace them. They try to keep that balance, you know. So when they're having problems, you know, you've got the Dems shopping around for a court judge someplace. I mean, the judge is causing all this grief with the gang situation. He's nowhere near anywhere near where all this stuff was taking place. Hello, Mr. Whistle. Welcome. Yeah, the president's auto pen. "94 district courts, COURT, not quartz, district courts, Enrique." And Trump was able to appoint 54 appellate court judges during his administration, 54 appellate court judges. And he appointed 234 district court judges and 3 Supreme Court justices. So he did some good. He did a bunch. He did a bunch. But there's a healthy, unfortunately, or you might call a sickly number of detractors out there. They're trying to delay. They're the resistance. They're trying to get by until they can have another election, and maybe they'll get some more people elected, so that they can block the conservative agenda. And then I have Uncle Al, my conscience on my little. I've got Dave on one shoulder, and I've got Yoda or Dave on one shoulder, and I've got Alan Sato sitting on the other shoulder, and they're both whispered in my ear different stuff. You know. And neither of them, I would say, are demonic, but they're my little angels on my shoulder, whispering in my ears. Yeah, socialist and communist. And that's just like, where Uncle Al lives. If you look at the actual territory in the state of California, more of the territory out there is conservative as far as if you look at the counties and everything. You got more conservative areas out in California than you've got liberal areas, but you've got heavy liberal populations. The majority of the population is liberal. Like, I think out of 52 House seats in California, the Republicans control like 8. I think like 8. Something like 8. Like out in Los Angeles, where they had all the fires out there, Palo Alto and all that, all the fires, and they didn't have the water because they didn't have the mains, and they didn't have the lines, and they didn't have this, and they didn't have the reserve filled up and everything. The entire city council is Democrat. The mayor's Democrat. Mayor appointed the fire chief, the police chief, all the various, it's all, and what'd that get you? And everybody's upset, but it's like they're it's like they don't say, hey, damn, look at what these people that we elected did or did not do. And they're out there worried about voting money to try to resist Trump. 9 seats now? Okay, 9 seats. Out of 52 seats, the Republicans control 9 seats. That's a big difference, Uncle Al. 9 seats. I mean, that state will never get straightened out. And then the counties out in the western part of the state, or I guess the eastern part of the state, they recognize that, and they want to leave the state and join their neighboring states that are more conservative. Same thing with Oregon. Same thing with Washington. All 3 of those states along the west coast. That's why they call it the left coast. Yeah, mobs of idiots. Careful, Uncle Al, careful. But 8 in the house, 12 likes. So tomorrow I'm going to finish my video. I'm doing a video to accompany the box that KP Heathen's going to be receiving. And after KP Heathen, there'll be somebody else. But I'll be doing a video of it. I've got to troll him a little bit. And I'll get the box out to him probably Tuesday, and he'll probably have it the later part of the week. And he'll do a nice unboxing. I'm sure he'll like what I send him. I support those who support me. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I get up in the morning, I say my prayers, I drink my coffee, I take my medication. I contemplate the day. I live by the philosophy of treat people the way you want to be treated, and do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. I was a leader in education for many years. I believe in leading by example. And it's a ministry. Teaching is education. Teaching is a ministry. The term rabbi, that they would refer to Jesus as rabbi as teacher. Teacher is an honorary term, but it's a teacher, honorary term. Why did Jesus start his ministry at the age of 30? Because in the Hebrew Jewish traditions, you need to be 30 before you can assume a role, that kind of a role. at that time. I don't know if it's the same thing now, but back in the days, you had to be 30 before you could. So that's why he didn't start his ministry till he was 30. Uncle Al's leaving stage left or stage right. Thank you, Uncle Al. So again, tomorrow, I'll try to get that one done. And I probably won't get it loaded up tomorrow because I've got to do some voodoo to it, and I've got to do the descriptions, and I've got to link some channels and all that sort of stuff. But I appreciate your support. And I wish I could do something for everybody at once, but I, space it out. Yeah, it's, my appreciation. You show love through doing things for people, feeding people. In Hispanic culture, you feed people. It's like the way you show love, support. You feed them, break bread with them, such. And it's something that we all do 2 or 3 times a day, is eat. So I will be back tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. Be prepared, and everybody, please have a blessed day. And I'm going to go eat some pot roast, which I made today. Pot roast and vegetables. I'll take a picture and show you the plate. Thank you. Bye-bye.